Okay, so this is just a small update. Free Play Florida has gone out the door. I met the VP of American Pinball. He stopped by my booth, so my game was working from Friday until a couple of hours into Saturday morning, and then a couple of things started breaking. And I talked to the marketing guy from Jersey Jack, Ken. He stopped by for a little bit. He said that they saw my game and some people were talking about it. I had the Pinball Asylum. David stopped by. He's the president of the Pinball Asylum. That's where they had the IFPA World Tournament, and I saw him last year, so he remembered me and was saying that he was talking about me as well from last year. So I posted a bunch of stuff on Pinside. That's pinside.com is where all the pinball people that are huge into pinball pretty much congregate. A lot of questions about whether I can hit pricing, IP rights and stuff. So I'm just going to go down the list of addressing different comments and things. So anyway, I did have a really good time at Free Play Florida. Yeah, I think everything went smoothly. It's the first time I've shown the game working entirely, at least for some portion of a day or two. So let's just go down the list. So yes, I do own the rights to all the music I have. I have one song licensed from each and every single band on there. Even going back a year ago, my brother had commented, like, why are you licensing music already? Well, it took me over a year, or just about a year, to get all the Nuclear Blast contacts and bands and all this stuff working. So I just got Testament, Sabaton, and the other couple bands I have from there, Cataclysm and stuff. I just got all that licensed like 2 or 3 months ago. Again, I own all those rights. As far as Megadeth, I keep that on my website just because I've talked to Dave Mustaine personally. He's seen all my work. Right now, I'm the only person in the world that even has made a prototype of a Megadeth pinball game. And I think he was intrigued by it, and he said that it's in his cards that he wants to do a pinball game. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that I'm worried about getting sued for IP, or if he wants to send me a cease and desist and he decides to work with another company, that's fine. What I do know is that he told me that Stern had some kind of issues or just something. He said his ex-bandmates had some issue with Stern. That's all I know. So they're aware of me. They can work with anyone they want. I like heavy metal and pinball, and I know it's going to take quite a bit of money to get all that deal done and whatnot. So by all means, if somebody wants to snatch up that IP and they think it's big enough, go do it. But I am representing myself as the Heavy Metal Pinball Machine Company, and there's a bunch of other bands that I might do, or other IPs, or I'll just keep rolling my own. Pinball Eternal is my IP. So I put out the alpha trailer. Again, it's an early alpha build. It's earlier than I wanted to be, but stuff works. It proves that I can make a flipper and all these things run on my own hardware, all my own steel, all my own parts manufactured in-house. Nobody else in the world that I know of is doing that. Maybe the home pin guy in Taiwan. But yeah, I mean, I'm cutting every single piece of steel that goes in there and saving costs as much as I can. You extrapolate that to buying in bulk and in volume, and you get discounts everywhere. So even on your art and vinyl graphics on the sides. So we're getting there. It's not a fun game yet. So 95% of my work is kind of what I say has been a lot of pricing, R&D, talking to music licensing, music contracts, getting samples for like 7-segment LEDs, and just lining up where I can get access to all kinds of electronics and materials so they don't go out of order, and I have a supply line going into the future. I've been recently even looking at quotes for cardboard boxes to get custom made done locally here. It's cheaper to do and find a cardboard manufacturer around here. So that's the kind of stuff I have to deal with, and that's kind of why my game is lacking right now. It's a proof of concept that I can build and build further IPs, but the game Pinball Eternal is not a fun game. It's not shippable in any form right now, and that's not the point of the alpha video. Right now the play field's a little bit short. I don't really know why I cut it short. I think it's just about 42 inches. We're going to go to 46, which is standard. Let's see. Currently it's a wide body. It's just about 24 inches, but my back box isn't super huge, so you still have spacing at arcades in between. I'll try to slim it down a little bit if I can with putting it a longer length. We might be able to slim it when we move things down and get more to a standard size. But yeah, the alpha proves all the tech and functionality that I can manufacture stuff inside. Let's see, I have not posted a launch date. I said I was taking pre-orders on January 1st. Mainly that's just the beginning of the year, so for taxes and collecting taxes and different things, it's easier to just wait. I'm collecting pre-orders because it's just kind of, people have asked me, and I already have people lined up and emailing me saying, hey, I want to get on the list. I definitely want to get in. I think people can see the vision, and when you understand that it's all my own tech, that's, again, I don't think anybody at Jersey Jack or any of these other companies are, cutting literally plunger steel and making springs and making all these cool, unique necks and stuff and different coils. So, let's see. Pre-order is probably going to be $100 to get in line. 100% refundable. Again, I'm just making this thing for myself. $7,000 is a lot for a pinball machine, and yeah, it's mainly a thing just for me to create. It's an idea I had, and then I'm seeing who else wants to take the ride with me, and I think it's going to be a great product when it's all said and done. I mean, people easily dropped $12,000 deposits for the $12,000 Toy Story 4 game. So I'm not a bad guy here. Let me engage in commerce for $100. It's not hurting anyone. 100% refundable, and it's mainly your ticket to get in line. It's just enough money to say that you actually want to get in line and you're willing to buy this product for a couple $1,000. So here's a couple of videos I'm going to show. So here's me messing with rail and paint tests. You can see a couple of videos of me here how I cut steel rods, so that you can kind of get an idea of how I'm getting away with manufacturing everything in house and cheaper. You can see here some tests of me working on flippers and coil stops. So here's like one where I hit the game. This is a 25,000 plunger activations, which I estimated is 125 games. I think I estimated average game to be somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes, I think. So, and again, this is without a ball on there to kind of stop the speed of the solenoid plunger. So this is just slamming full speed. And then here's another one where I'm hitting it for 40,000 hits, so like up to 200 games. And just different internal coil designs and stuff. So I started getting some lockups over time, but this was just me tearing it down, taking a look, seeing what's going on. I think I got up to about 250 games on my older design. I haven't gone through and done a full testing, but mainly I'm just activating the plunger 3 times a second, just smash, smash, smash. I have a fan that's just blowing on the coil, and we were just running this for hours and hours all day. Let's see. So again, when you buy in bulk, like artwork, everything, pinball legs, all this stuff, Pinball Life, I've talked with them. I got someone's contact at Free Play Florida for Marco. You do get discounts when you're, buying in bulk, and, so things will work out. So just to give you an idea of costs and everything that I've looked at. So here's just a small sample of like my cost analyzer. Let me pull it up here. So yeah, just like a couple things like coils. So if you look at, again, I'm winding my own coils. I'll probably build my own coil winder. You look at spools by the pound. You look at the gauges that you want to buy. You divide, the cost basically per foot or per ohm of every single wind that you put in a coil. Then you know how many coils you can build at what cost, and the cost that it actually costs for a coil. So some of them are $2, $3. I think, depending on prices, it might be up to $4, but I just looked at a place yesterday close to me that they had cheaper prices than what I was getting before. So I think $3 for a flipper coil plus the internal workings. So it's about $3.50 or $4 for just a single flipper coil. Again, all kinds of things like steel rods. So let's see if I had a photo here. Maybe I'll pull it up in a minute, but I was looking at like Home Depot. If you were to just go to Home Depot and buy a raw steel rod and just slice it up, slice it up, slice it up, and use those for your solenoid plunger armatures to magnetize, you can kind of get an idea of what that would cost if you were to look at how many you need for a game. And that's just going to Home Depot for pricing. That's not going to a steel place and buying 100 foot of this steel and chopping all these rods up just really fast. What else? Even costs like I saw a Jersey Jack tour video the other day, and they said that they get all their playfields done by Mirko in Germany. It seems a little bit odd to ship heavy plywood across the planet when we have an abundance of raw materials here in the U.S. So I'm not sure what's up there, but if you go to their website, I think some of their playfields are like $800 if you're just an individual customer, which is very expensive. I'm not paying anywhere near that. So yeah, I've done a lot of tests on clear coats, all kinds of different types of paints. I kind of settled on acrylic for now. It's really easy to buff. You can wax it and it holds up. A lot of the games that have a secondary play field, even the newer Black Knight by Stern up in the top, I think they just have an acrylic top right up there. So it does get beat up over time, but it's super easy to polish back to normal. And then if it just got destroyed over like 20 years or something, which, I haven't done, super, super long-term testing, but if it got completely destroyed, you can CNC another one. You just tear it off, tear all the parts off, put on a new one. You don't have to worry about like resanding inserts and clear coating and destroying your lungs and all that stuff. But we're still testing and we'll see. UL certification I have investigated, as I've said. I have the amusement standards downloaded on my desk, and I'll be looking at some other things. It's not as complicated as I thought, honestly, and we'll do our due diligence and make sure we video all of our processes. But even aside from UL stuff, it's just testing flipper clamps and stuff, making sure they don't break. So we're really just going to bang on everything and make sure that the product is tested. We let people know like where we're at and how good of a product we're bringing out. I do have the option for UL to come out and actually certify one single game, but not maintain certification, for the next decade. So that at least would show due diligence. It's not too expensive, but they would come out, test my machine, test that fuses blow, different things, make sure you can't stick a hand inside the machine and just completely die. And I think that shows pretty good due diligence that we know what we're doing over here. Just real quick on pricing, it's another thing. So the release date I don't have yet. It could go another year from today. I don't really know. We're just going to see where it gets me. But I think I've shown pretty good progress so far. And we're going to start focusing on gameplay a lot. The pricing can change as well. So we'll see. I mean, it's a good price point. And it's possible to go up a little bit from there. I don't want to go too crazy. I think the shipping all the way from here to Seattle and Orlando is just around $300 or $400, but I think 300. So there's costs there on the consumers. Just kind of some other things. So I've worked on a lot of video games in my life. I have my own video game engine. I've worked and built my own guitars. I'm a super good skateboarder. I had a punk rock band when I was young, and I produced another punk rock band. So I had like this little record label. We were just selling copies of CDs and recording bands and stuff. So I've always been a workhorse to get stuff done, and I always wanted to get recognized, be someone, be a designer and get products out there. Go down the Q&A here from Pinside forums. So have you done any measured tests to compare impact strength, transit time, other variables with your coils? Honestly, I'm not doing anything different. So if you look at go on like Pinball Life or something, look up a Stern flipper coil. It'll say how many wraps, but that doesn't really matter. It matters, the power, how many ohms they're going to put through it. So you can take a look at those, and I'm pretty much doing the same thing. It's 22 gauge or 23 gauge coils here and there, certain ohms, and it's honestly it's all the same thing. It's just building the cores and stuff, and testing different materials for heat. But it's just cheaper for me to do it, as I showed you earlier. I can build a coil for like $3 instead of $16. So, and then getting rid of all the metal brackets and things for flippers and just things that I don't. Mostly it's just all these metal stamped pieces of steel inside there that make the game really heavy and expensive. So, so here's a video of me showing a vertical upkick that I had created, and it goes about 12 inches high. As you're adding additional ramps later on, throw a spinner or two in there. Yeah, that's from my old boss. So, yeah, I mean, I guess, well, one, I am going to look at doing another ramp or so. But I guess as far as spinners, maybe I need like a zombie nipple ring spinner or something. Stern's got the James Bond sex toy rocket. And then before that, they had the Rush, people call it the golden butthole. So maybe we're going to do something naughty, I guess. That's, the cool thing. Does this game have an LCD or what kind of display? So right now it's just going to be a 14 segment display. It's probably going to be 9:2 characters, or I might go a little bit smaller and then do more characters. So you're looking at 18 or like 24 character display. Looking at LCD and dot matrix in the future. Before we ship this game, it's possible I could do dot matrix. I don't want to do the whole 128x32. I might do like a 64, and just have like a little score segment here and then a little square video for different things. We'll see. If I do that, the price is going to go up a little bit, but probably only $100. Hope to be able to support you buying a machine that is made and ready to go one day. Good luck. Yep, that's the whole point. Just hold off. I'm building this thing. I'm not asking for any money. I mean, I know I'm asking for pre-orders, but that's really just a small amount to get you in line. So just hold off. We'll get there. It does seem unrealistic though. 1800 to 2000 is a very thin goal for parts and licensing, unless OP is fine with doing just this and taking a loss and building it all himself. Again, I have simpler games. I'm building everything very quickly in house. Let's see, Florida, there's no state income tax, so as long as I stay in Florida, that's 6% off of my income that I don't need to make, so that makes up for it. If you cap out at self-employment tax or Social Security, you don't pay anything in Social Security. So we're set up pretty good right now. If this is a side business, it'll keep growing. If I go full time, prices can change or whatever if I buy a warehouse. But right now, I got to focus on building a super small company. I'm looking at maybe shipping 50 in the next year, or from when I start shipping, maybe 50 from there. But if it starts growing from there, then we change our pricing or whatever, and we adjust from there. But I got to start somewhere, prove a point, prove that it can be affordable, and Okay, next question. What if he has already personally messaged Dave Mustaine for a few years? No, he's literally just seen a working prototype. There's no anything between us, so anyone can snatch up that IP if they want to, but I'm definitely going to go for it when this is all said and done. Mike Becker. So Mike Becker is another homebrew guy building his own game, Fight Club. I'm not sure the current status of where it is, but he's got a lot of cool stuff and ideas. We're similar people here. So he's got a ton of questions. Let's go through them here. So is your plan to continue with this in the next couple of years on top of your day job, or are you picturing transitioning to do this full time? Yeah, pretty much on the side, unless this goes crazy. But even at that, if 1,000 people came and gave me pre-orders, man, I can only go so fast. So I'm not going to get a bunch of money in and then just be like, hey, let's just quit my job and do all this crazy stuff. I would really just tell people, hey, that's I thank you for the pre-orders, but I got to get some out the door and stuff. And that's why I'm only taking like 5 pre-orders or 10 right up front. So again, we got to turn this thing slowly and do it right. But yeah, I mean, it's probably not going to be at least a year again from the first game that I ship to decide if I would even quit my job. We'll see. As a one-man operation, hand assembling each game, even if it's not complicated, that's a ton of work per game. Honestly, I mean, I know both of us have been working on games for years. Most of my time, again, has been on how can I design a wire bender without paying 18 grand and other things like that. I have a build time. I'm not going to tell anyone what I think it's going to be, but I think it's going to be a lot less than most people think. And worst case, I also have that computed into the price. But I have a best case and worst case, and we'll see what the build time becomes. Are you picturing full light shows, a lot of sound effects, LCD animations? Nope, no LCD animations right now. I tried to animate the playfield to make it very animated, so I think the spike effect you see is cool. I think the electrocution effect's pretty cool. So, in Metallica, you electrocute Sparky, and then you get the video display. I'm kind of just trying to keep everything in the game and keep it as cool and gory as possible. Got a ton more cool animated mechs that are going to go in, so just stay tuned for that. At your price point, though, yeah, we already went through that. Oh, no, sorry. At your price point, though, it seems like you'd never even cover man hours. Maybe I already did. Oh, no, it's the same kind of question, but let alone parts. Again, parts are super cheap. I didn't maybe go through everything here in this video, but you kind of get an idea. I mean, I've been looking at pricing and crunching it for 3 years now. So I have a spreadsheet with bill of materials. It's actually under what I had estimated a year or two ago. So I have to rerun that and see if I'm missing some things. But yeah, I'm actually $100 cheaper than what I was looking at before, and bringing even more parts in house, I think it's gonna really work out here. It's kind of impossible to know how many production hours will take once you have a final prototype and can assemble a second one. Yeah, again, I have an estimate. I think it's going to be really tight. I think I've proven kind of a lot of stuff and I know what I'm talking about. So I'd be really surprised if I hit that one completely, just not even close. I mean, if it took me a week to make a game, that would be insane, and we would just shut down the company. So there may not need to be. Yeah, there was a comment about not needing a coin door. Yeah, it's going to be optional. We're going to make the cabinet a little bit bigger, and we're going to have it pre-routed that you can just basically slap it in with like a 3D printed bracket or something, but it'll be an optional. I'm looking at an option where I have a design where it's a fully designed brewery game where you hit beer taps and kegs and stuff, and all the kegs pump and animate, beer taps come down, just different things like that, and then you can retheme and re-logo it with your brewery, and then I ship it out to you. So it's like a custom shop, but it's at a cheaper price point because I already designed everything, and that'll probably have a lot of coin doors because I think those people are going to want to collect money. But I think that's going to be something really cool and unique. Are you working with or looking to bring on established designers or top tier players? There's one guy named Vince, or I think his name's Vince. I've talked with him. I think he's ranked. I know he did a lot of voiceover stuff for the World Tournament that happened in Fort Myers. So I'll probably talk with him at some point. I've met him in person. But as far as like established designers and stuff, I might go and talk to some people. But I built this company because I wanted to design and have creative control as well. This is something that's fun to me. I want to get in there and learn. I don't think there's any individual designer that has a monopoly over the entire entire pinball game market. When you look at video games, I mean, there's like thousands and thousands of games and designers, and there's so many successful video games. This idea that somebody that's been designing games from the 80s or 90s is like the only person in the world that can make a fun game. I think I'm going to make a pretty cool game. Stranger Things is one of those games. I really like the mech, the Demogorgon guy. If you've ever seen the Stranger Things pinball game, when it comes out and you hit the ball in the hole in his mouth. I think it's a really cool mech, but then everything else, it's like, I don't really like the game as much as far as like the animation and stuff. Metallic is a really cool game that I like, but again, when I look at that, I'm thinking, I got a lot of cool animated stuff. I think I can make a game that's, is on par with something like that. So, out of curiosity, what was the price difference between using off-the-shelf cheap components and software frameworks? Nothing is cheap. So if you look at the cheapest board controller right now, it's Cobra Pin. It's $180. It has a bunch of MOSFETs. It has a logic control for lights and everything. That's a really good price point, I think, if you're an indie DIY guy. But even for me, I can cut that down like over $100 from there per board. So you're thinking 1,000 games at $100, it's $100,000, and that's just repeated over so many different parts. And again, so many things go out of stock, and what do you do at that point? If you look at, there was a Stern Opto board. Somebody on a Facebook group was saying, hey, I have an Opto board. I have no idea what's going on. It doesn't work in my Elvira, and it's $59.99 and it's out of stock. What are you going to do? So I'm looking at doing things differently. And my price point to build all of these things is way, way cheaper than $60 for Optos. I can tell you that. Deposit. The deposit before it's finished, no matter how small, no matter what you say about refundability, is worrisome, given it follows a well-worn, not outside the box playbook. It's a non-starter for me. Again, just hold off then. I think this was a comment from someone that's interested to buy if it all works out in the end. So just wait. It doesn't matter. But again, as far as me engaging in commerce with people for $100, if you even own a game and you're writing that comment, I mean, you drop $7,000 to play pinball. I mean, this is kind of where I'm at with the company. I'm not asking for a whole lot. Here's like stupid pricing I'm giving away for free. Here's fair, and then on this end is greedy. I think I'm just under fair right now. I could bump up the game a little bit and be fair. I can still go further towards greedy, but I'm trying to make my game for the people out there that really love pinball. They love real pinball. They don't want a little manufactured toy. They want a real pinball machine at that they can afford, and I think that's what I'm trying to do at the end of the day. So that's where I'm at this point. So I'll keep updating the thread and information, but there's just not a whole lot to talk about and keep reiterating stuff like price point. We'll get there. It's flexible, but I think I'm really close at $2,100. I mean, I'm definitely not losing money there. Trust me. So we'll get there. It's going to take time, but again, I am doing something very different than what's out there. Nobody else is really CNCing their games and doing their artwork and everything in house. So yeah, I mean, I'm investigating the cost of pieces of steel that other companies don't do and don't have any idea. I mean, even the comment about coils, I don't even think anybody really knows why a coil is the way they are, or um, why they're built the way they're built, or the size of the solenoid plungers and stuff. And I've been really investigating that. So if you look at the solenoid here and you got the metal rod, I've looked at putting it in just a little bit over time, like exactly where do you want it and stuff. And it's dead on what you see in a pinball machine. But I've really R&D'd and investigated, trying to make them stronger or better, or just anything I can do to improve. But it's not that I'm reinventing any wheels really. It's just that I'm building things in-house myself. Um, that's pretty much it. So again, I appreciate the overwhelming positive support. The skepticism on price, let's just put that aside for now. Let me build the game. It's going to probably be, man, I got all of December until January 1st. I think I can do some really cool stuff. I'm trying to finish some mechs right now, and I'll post a video when it's right. The alpha was a little bit earlier than I wanted. I wanted to really wait until I had 5 machines fully done, no questions asked, no skepticism. Like, here's 5 games lined up. I'm playing each one. Who wants to buy them? And I think they would have sold out like that. But that's where we're going to be when we ship. All the people that are going to pre-order, I'm going to build 5 games. You're going to see me play them. You're going to see them fully functional, the lights all on and everything. And then I'm going to take the legs off and ship them out. So I want you guys to see that I'm really replicating games as a manufacturer, and that this is a real business. It's definitely for profit. And yeah, I appreciate the support so far, and that's it.